Train Sim World 3 video. My name is BCP Rail, and today we're going to do something different. Today I'm going to be doing a kind of video essay on Train Sim World 3 and its releases. What I liked about them, what I didn't like about them. All opinions are that of my own, and nothing in this video is from the forum, as their opinion is their opinion, and it's not necessarily positive, constructive feedback, is it? So, Train Sim World 3 was the third instalment of the Train Sim World franchise by Dovetail Games, and it released on the 6th of September of 2022. On release, the three routes were Schnellfahrstrecke Kassel Würzburg, Cajon Pass, Southeastern High Speed Extended, and also if you bought the deluxe version you would have got the Spirit of Steam upgraded. I'm not going to be looking at Spirit of Steam today, as that is a Train Sim World 2 release and it doesn't really factor into this video. So without any further ado, Schnellfahrstrecke Kassel Würzburg. So it is 138 services. Yeah, not much. There's not really much traffic about on the route. Freight is pretty much at night, so it's pretty pointless if you're a streamer or a video maker. It's quite long, so if you like long runs with lots of waiting time, then the freight runs are for you. And it also has the ice runs between Frankfurt, because I wrote Frankfurt there, between Kassel and Würzburg, and Würzburg to Kassel, and Würzburg to Fulda, and Kassel to Fulda, and all that kind of jazz. It's quite a very long route. It's like 196 or I think it's either 186 or 196 kilometers. Let's find out actually. Uh, 186 kilometers. So I was right. But yeah, you know, it's just one of them routes where it is basically just a straight line, where you're doing like 230 kilometers max. It takes about an hour. Is it good? I mean, you know, it looks good and it appears to be good, but it's just, you know, you start off at one end at a terminus station, which is pretty. Actually, no, German terminus stations aren't dead in Train Sim World. It's just the UK. Anyway, like there is some life at stations on there. We're going to spawn in now, and you can have a look. We're here at Würzburg. You can see there's some traffic out and about. It uses the TOD4 system, which is better than whatever they was using in the last iteration. So it features LZB. Actually, I'm not going to do CEPA and PZB for this little bit. The route itself looks good, really good. There's a lot of tunnels and a lot of bridges. It's quite well detailed. The rolling stock's quite nice. The ice one is awesome. The ice 3 is not the same as the one that you got in like Köln or Hamburg, but no, Munich to Augsburg. It's had a lot of sound and physics updates on the, like this whole brake screen's been added. It's totally not the same as the Munich Augsburg or Köln. I like how our older stock, like the DBBR 101, gets added services onto this route. It gives it a chance to stretch its leg. That's not on like Hapstrack Orion Raw, or just limited to services on that. The scenarios are quite cool too, so we'll take a look at them. So you get like different other things. I'll show you Castle, as we was just at Würzburg. So this is Castle. I picked a time where there's no life in Castle. I think we'll have a talent 2 up here actually. But yes, there is a lot of AI stuff that uses this, like talent 2s, the 6-1-2s, the ices, Dostos, all that kind of stuff. Dear. So yeah. Now in terms of scenarios, I'll show you. It's easy to just go through them one by one and then see if they're good or not. Of course, all these scenarios are not. All these scenarios aren't in the. Well, some of them are. Some of them ain't. Icebreaker. That was a really fun scenario, where you do a speed test with like the ice one and get it up to 280 or 400 or something like that. It was really good. Lonely Road, yes, that's a fun one where you just like driving the power car of the ice one. I like that one. Next day delivery was a bit it's just a freight really. Not really much freight and shunting, not really much to write home about. Fast tracked folder. An afternoon run down the folder changes first. Yeah, it's dynamic weather and the LZB messes up, so that's quite a fun one. Castle Run, Star Wars, where you take a train to Folder and then you drive it to, then you take over another service and do it to Castle. It's basically a little shift. It's quite an alright. Unfortunately, the scenarios suffer from a classic trains sim world problem that is called not much traffic in scenarios. It's like the base scenarios, they have a lot of traffic, but like the DLC scenarios don't really have much. Yeah, again another just generic freight service thing. Then you got some. Then you got Worse Winter, which is like weather's caused delays and adverse signals and a lot of LZB, PZB, see-through action. Nightcrawler, yeah, it's just basically doing a freight service. Again, just a freight service. A sister, yes. So this one's quite cool, where you drive light loco, then you couple to another train and then take it to Kirkenheim. Yeah, it's quite a boring scenario, and yeah, all these scenarios are boring. They're not really much to write home about. While I'm on the subject of like scenarios and tutorials, I won't be talking about the tutorials in this one, as all tutorials are now copy and pastes of each other. So I absolutely cannot stand the Train Sim World 3 tutorials. I remember in Train Sim World 1, and the original 1 and 2, where the tutorials would be interactive and it would take you on the line, so you get to, get a chance of driving that training on the line like actual driver training would be. But yeah, the tutorials aren't really nothing to write home about, it's just a copy and paste of each other. So, Cajon Pass. Again, nothing really to write home about. It's just a long American freight route with slow speeds. Not really much to say. It's set in a desert, so if you like desert scenery, this one's for you. So, got a massive yard up here. Frame rates, so this is like Basto. And then you got San Bernardino down here. It's a bit squiggly around here. But yeah, it's like 80 something, 70, 80 miles or something like that. So as you can see, like, it's quite arid, quite deserty. There's a lot of stock here, so that's where you know why the frame rates are shocking. You know, you've got all these, so many trains. It's nice to see, but it does make your system go, ah! Now, scenarios. Oh, what do I like about Cajon Pass? The yards. I'm not a fan of American freight. It's just too long and boring, and there's hardly much to do. You just sat there for hours on end. It's just no. So, like a couple of scenarios. That's a good one where you bring it into service and then run it around and couple. You know, it's a quick one. Through the Fire and Flames. I think that's Metallica, isn't it? I think it's give me fuel, give me fire, give me that, or something like that. Oh no, it's Dragon Force apparently. I've never heard of them. No, I thought it was Metallica. Oh well. Anyway, that's quite a fun one where you run out of Barstow. No, sorry. You run from San Bernardino. Then there's a fire up near the Cajon Pass, and you're held at Cajon Pass until like all the smoke and stuff. It's quite cool. Bar stowaway, inspector formation on the inspection line. That's a cool one. Where you're like role playing a inspection worker, inspecting like handbrakes on wagons, and there's a failure on one and you've got to tow it away and put it somewhere. It's quite cool. Slip inside. Yeah. We go on the Union Pacific lines because of a landslide. It's quite a cool one, but again long. Command and concrete. That's just you're just shunting really. That's just your shunting scenario. Free switch. That's your typical sandbox rubbish, which I don't like sandbox scenarios where there's no objectives. It's if you want to do that, you know, fair enough. Do it in quick drive or do it in scenario planner. But don't waste space and just giving us a boring, no objective shunting thing because I don't want it. That's just a full run. It's boring, really. Again, that's just a full run with no traffic. Again, just a run with no traffic. That's quite a fun one where you're switching, where you're shunting. Like you're creating different, like you're sorting out consists and stuff and separating wagons and putting them on different lines, and there's rail fans watching. That's quite one. That's just a shunting one in Barstow Yard. That's a fun one where you go down to now you go up to Barstow, go around the loop and there's fireworks. That's a fun one. I do like that one. Yes, and that's it for that one. That's all I can say. Southeastern High Speed Extended. Yes, I can hear you now. Southeastern High Speed was released with Train Sim World 2. It's just been upgraded. But no, it hasn't. It's been absolutely reworked. So let's spawn in at St Pancras. Yeah, let's go with that one. So, unlike the Train Sim World 2 route, Ashford, the line down from Ebbsfleet to Ashford has been fully built, fully modelled. They've got interesting assets with the bridge over the Medway Viaduct. Then you've got the line from Gravesend to Dartford that was being added in. Again, we didn't have that in Train Sim World 2. Also, upon release, they had like Class 66 engineering. Oh, I see you, Class 700. That's like Class 66 engineering trains within the lines to Kingswood on the East Coast Main Line, which was cool. There's also a lot of various rolling stock from other routes in game, like are in the timetable. So such as the HSTs from Midland Main Line, and yeah, lovely route. Got one of the best timetables in game from Joe the Fish, also known as Joe the God, Joe the Goat, as in greatest of all time. There's like over 700 services, 2 timetables. If you're, if the system's a bit weak, you can have a reduced timetable, which just literally takes out some AI and the TGV, or you can have the full timetable, which includes everything. Yes. So the reduced timetable only has 706 services, where the full only has 710. So that's cool. That's cool. In terms of scenarios, it's the route with the most at 27. So we've got, I'll come on to them in a bit. So that's like you run into Strood, I believe, or somewhere. I think it's Strood. And you're late and you need to make up some time. Got like we couple a service from Ramsgate to a sort of service from Dover up at Faversham and take it onto Rochester, where it would continue on to London Victoria as it does in real life. Then you do one like it's a shopping shuttle running between Ebbsfleet and St Pancras on a busy bank holiday weekend. Tricky tunnels, there's like maintenance work, and you have to change lines on one of the high speed lines, so you do some opposite line running. And there's also some interesting action with TPWS at Ebbsfleet. Tutorial is up. Last stop, you're basically taking a train from Rochester to Gillingham and putting it in a depot at night. Oh. Extended service, take control of a Class 465 between the extended Rochester and Faversham route. Nice. It's basically a run from London Victoria. Got Who Dares Win, so it's like take a train from Dartford to Who, do some shunting around Who, and then take it back to Dartford. Filling in, take control of a Class 465, and you're basically running Gravesend to Gillingham, back to Gravesend. Riders on the Thames. So we're doing a Dartford to Rochester service because somebody presses the PASCOM and the doors are open. Don't know how, don't know when. Then yeah. Temporary contract, you're basically doing Rochester to Rainham run. Javelin throw, you're basically starting in Ashford Depot, doing a bit of movement in the depot, and then you're taking a service to St Pancras. Morning Storm, you're basically using 375 from Gillingham Depot to Dartford in a storm, and there's some random events that happen halfway through. Empty Evening is basically like the 375 scenario where you're taking it from Rochester to Gillingham and going into the depot. Off the grid, there's a power problem with the pantograph, and you're told to go back to Rochester and then wait in the sidings. That's a cool one. I do like that one. I'll come on to this bit later. Yeah, that's it basically. I really love South Eastern High Speed. Not because I'm biased, because it's my local route, but just because every time you play it, there's always something new in the timetable that you can explore, and you can see there's so many secrets hidden. Like there's a whole forum thread about South Eastern High Speed AI Easter eggs that Joe's put in, and it's all fun stuff like that. Now in the next release we had Locomotive Bundle number 1. So in that bundle we had the Railhead Treatment Train 66, the Santa Fe F7 and the DBBR 182 in Displuk livery. So the 182 in Displuk livery added a variety of services really. It's basically just a well, it's not just a reskin, it has had some like physics updates to the brakes, but adds like 59 services to the, well actually most of the, don't add many because I've just remembered this does the freight, doesn't it? Yeah, ignore what I said. It doesn't add 59, it adds some but not all of them. But yeah, that can be used as freight. It's alright, it's, you know, it is what it is. In terms of like scenarios, you get Nightcrawler, where you're basically running from Würzburg to Fulda. You know, it's dark, you can't really see much, a bit pointless really. Again, you're doing a line run from Würzburg to Fulda. Again, it's getting dark, you won't be able to see much, so it's pointless. And then that's the best one, I say, the tunnel vision, where you're helping another one. Not really interesting scenarios, I'd say. Then with like the Santa Fe doodah on Chopin Pass, it adds switching out. Basically you're just switching in Barstow Old Yard while rail fans watch. Then again you're switching around Barstow, which you're making up a train which will be taken at some other point in the day. And then Horn on the 4th of July, which is probably the best scenario for the F7, where you run light engine to Barstow Yard, you go around the loop, blow your horn for rail fans, and then there's some fireworks. In terms of like services or substitution at this point, has it crashed? No. You get like 18 services varying in time and stuff. Yeah, but it is quite nice. It's you know, it's another F7, so people complain about that. And something else people complained about was the Railhead Treatment Train. So in terms of like scenarios, we had that. We had Dawn of the Shed, clear the tracks around Faversham as leaves start to fall, where you basically go from Faversham to Sittingbourne to Faversham and back. Ignore what I just said. You go from Faversham to Sittingbourne to Faversham again, clearing the line. Then we get Night Cleaner, where there's like track maintenance just at Higham Tunnel, and you're taking it from Higham to Dartford while cleaning the tracks on the way. Once in a Who Moon, you're basically going to Sittingbourne from Who Junction, which is quite cool. and you're basically there is different coloured signals as the line is quite busy. It's got quite busy timetable in that scenario. Talking of timetables, the Railhead Treatment Train 66 has a total of 6. I think it's about 18. Turn that off, don't need that for a minute. Got over there. But yeah, it's quite varying, interesting services where you go on the high speed line late at night where no services are no trains are using no trains are using it. So yeah, then after that we got our first route release in Trains in World 3. That being Birmingham Cross City. So Birmingham Cross City, I like it because it added a new area of England into the game, that being the West Midlands and Birmingham. Also give us a new train operating company, which is West Midlands Railway. Also give us a new train in the class 323, where the sounds and physics are top notch. We also get class 37s on rail tours. We get to do some freight with the 66. We get to do some, oh my god, get to do some epic HST power car moves, as I will show you now. And we can use the liveries too. Hey! So you go. Oh, that's a bug. So yeah, that's quite cool. The route itself is very nicely built. On release, the bit here was very bare, but they fixed that in an update and now it looks absolutely brilliant. In terms of service variety, the only thing I don't like about this route, and now people do complain about it, but I do have to say, because they haven't got licenses for other train companies that cannot and won't build units that are unbranded to sit in a station and do nothing, okay? Yes, Birmingham New Street is dead. That's because we don't have the appropriate stock or the licensing for that appropriate stock, okay? It just lays the foundation for a future release. I don't know anything that's coming. I don't know anything more than everybody else does, okay? So anyway, we get stuff like power car moves from Lyra to Doncaster and Doncaster to Lyra. We get 2 class 37 rail tours. We get some railhead treatment train and freight action, which is cool. And then a bulk of our services are Bromsgrove to Lichfield Trent Valley, Birmingham New Street, Redditch to Four Oaks, stuff like that. The sounds of the 323 itself are absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it's a nice little route. It's got some interesting scenarios. So we've got like Snow Problem. We're quite a late service and we've got to skip some stops. And a passenger pulls the PASCOM because they're like, where the heck am I? And stuff like that. Then we have ludicrous display where like it's the football season and we're running a train from Four Oaks to Birmingham, but like there's some station maintenance going on, so you've got to like pass through a station at a certain speed, and then there's some football hooligans like there always is. Then we've got Chocolate Train where we're travelling to Bourneville, stopping at New Street to couple to another unit, pretty self-explanatory. Then we've got Red Wine, which is, you know, you're going from Redditch to Lichfield on a cold winter's day. Then we've got Thunder, da 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 da, Thunder, da 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 da. You been thunderstruck, which is like where we help a train that's got stuck during a storm. So it's pretty self-explanatory, and that's that really. Let me just open my helpful guide that I had. And put some new batteries in my controller. I won't be going nowhere with that, would I, boys and girls? No. Open. There we are. So, let me just... And I think it was Bremen Oldenburg after that. Yes, it was. Lovely Bremen Oldenburg. Yes, yes, yes. Cool, cool, cool. So... Bremen Oldenburg. And I noticed I didn't have one of the routes installed because, well, you know. But thankfully I now have everything installed. So, without any further ado, let's talk about Bremen Oldenburg. Bahnstrecke Bremen Oldenburg. Now, it's the first, like, German route that has given us, like, classic stock such as the N-Wagen, which is my personal favourite cab car that you can drive in the German content. Like, it's just very nice, sounds great. It reminds me of a Class 86, 87 from Britain. The 101, the 110, sorry. Again, a great one. And yeah, so right on. So yeah, we've got like a total of 272 services, which is quite good. It is a Joe table, one of the better ones. There's loads of action happening at the Bremen Oldenburg station, which is always nice to see. And then yeah, so in terms of like go away, no, in terms of scenarios, we have 6 delivered in 60 seconds, where you're basically going from Bremen to Hood, where they'll be painted. Then we have Chop and Change, where we're like pulling a freight train to Bremen in quite worsening weather. Stormbringer, which is Thor's hammer. That's with the 425, and that's terrible weather conditions are in northwestern Germany, and yeah, that's basically going from Bremen to Hood. Beats by Bremen. Take your special site, that's a 425. You're going from Hood to Bremen, join a like music festival. Oh, for crying out loud, Emma. Don't. They were stuck in the middle with Hood. It's Beatles something. Take a service from Hood to Oldenburg, where you uncouple the 110 and swing around to the side, and then return it to Bremen. Sharing is caring, where you're taking the N-Wagen from Oldenburg to Bremen, but we're sharing the line with freight, which is cool. Pretty much to say about that. I mean, you got a nice variety of services. You've got like the 425, which does the Bremen to Hood services. The 103 from a route I'm going to talk about later. Got 155 on freight, 101, 110 on passenger, 110 going on a mix of Oldenburg to Bremen, and yeah, Oldenburg to Bremen, yeah. Then we've got like the 182, the 185, the 185.2, 187, 185.5, they all sub in on freight. We've got some shunting services with the 363 and the G6. The 612 from Front Ramp also subs in. They do a couple of good runs. The Ice one from Schnellverstrecke Kornwagen also subs in. Yeah, and then that's basically it for Bremen. I think it's a nice route. It had a couple of things wrong with it at release, which was fixed not long after. So yeah, it's a really nice route. It's got some nice classic German stock that sound good. Physics are good. It's yeah, nice. After that we had Holiday Express, which was the Christmas themed route. Where is it? Is it not on here? No. Oh yeah, it is. Somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's basically just 7-story scenarios set around Christmas on a toy set. No, it's a fun idea. Really fun idea. It was very different. Of course, it was aimed primarily at little children, and yeah, it was quite fun. You know, you don't get much, but what you do get, it is quite fun. So you get like a whole like railway set at Christmas in a living room. My favourite part would be this over here, if I'm honest. Watch the TV. This also, I'll show you actually. Just go up here. Is it plugged in? Is it plugged in, mate? That's controller. Where's the power then? Yeah, this route also was the first to feature working lifts, which haven't been used since. Which is a real shame, because it's a good idea. I mean, yes, there was used in a route I'm going to come on to next, but that route isn't great. Are you switched on TV? I can't remember how to turn it on. That's what she said. But yeah, it was a Christmas themed kids thing, and it was quite alright, so yeah. See if I can get this working. Work. Oh. There we are. There's my favourite feature. Yeah. So that's Holiday Express. Now for our first third-party release of the Train Sim World 3 title. I am of course talking about Edinburgh to Glasgow. 224 services. We have the Class 37 from West Cornwall local that subs in. With thanks to the Steam Pack DLC. Then we have a railhead treatment train 1 service, which is highly unrealistic. Then we have 2 Class 314 rail tours and a Steam rail tour. And we have 156 services for the 385. I think the route is just 47 miles of a line, really. There's not really much to write about. Scenery's basic. The stations are nicely modelled. Like, if I just spawn into Edinburgh, So we've got like world modelled stations. They've got like shops and stuff. We've also got stuff like interactive stuff like this. Yep. Then we got. I can't get in there. Oh no, it is this way. Thanks for that. There, if we go in here, we've got modelled ticket offices, which is quite nice. You can open doors as well. So yeah. People said there's an Easter egg around here somewhere, but there isn't. Apparently there's a secret room or something. Yeah, cough to you too. The units themselves are modelled quite nice, but the sounds are absolutely atrocious. Like it's just mixed wrongly and too loud. It also uses the 484 sounds from the Isle of Wight 2022. But the route itself is quite nice, especially around Edinburgh. They've modelled the castle and it lights up at night, which is epic. So this is a secret room and they apparently found, but it's not secret because I've just literally been, hang on a minute, did you just walk through that wall fence? As you can see, I've literally just been in here. But yeah, there's, you know, things are modelled nicely, they do a good job at modelling as ever. Then we've got these bits. Yeah, it's an alright route. I wouldn't want to do it multiple times as it can get a bit boring, as services are like 50 minutes to an hour and it's quite like, really. Also, the catenary don't have weights on, they're meant to have weights on. So I don't know why with it haven't added that. I don't know. But yeah. That's, oh yes, scenarios. So we've got time to Glasgow where you're leaving the depot and you're taking it to Edinburgh. You've got the high grounds where you're late and you start off a spur just before Glasgow. And then you go to Edinburgh once you've got to Glasgow. Don't miss around. Basically doing a Polmont to Haymarket, then going to a stop at Edinburgh as not in service. Then snow drifting on Wales, it's basically take it empty 385 to Waverley, then couple it to another 385 and then take it to Eastfield in a blizzard. One Step to Freedom is basically a nighttime passenger train Edinburgh to from Falkirk to Glasgow, I believe. But yeah, it was an alright route. It's not the best, but it is what it is. So now we're going to look at a piece of DLC for the Boston Providence route, and that is the Amtrak Exceller, which in my opinion is one of the best locomotive DLCs for the North American market. It provides 20 new services for Boston Providence, as well as substituting into the next thing I'm going to get onto. So yeah, it was released on the 21st of February along with 3 other things. Oh, I do admit I was... no, I should have done it. So Birmingham Cross City was released 15th of November. Bremen Oldenburg was released 6th of December 2022. Holiday Express 13th of December. Edinburgh Glasgow was 26th of January, and now we're at 21st of February. So these are quite good services, quite long, utilising the full length of the Boston Providence route, reaching speeds of 150 miles an hour. In terms of scenarios, it comes with Gimme 5, where you're taking control of a reduced 5-car formation from Boston Providence, and you're not allowed to use a tilt function due to the size. High Speed US, where you're basically clear to run the full speed in the Acela, which is basically just another full run. Loads Clean Airs, where you're taking it from Boston into the cleaner, around the depot, back to Boston, and you're going to Providence. It's Impossible to Gold. Yeah, I highly rate the Amtrak Acela. You know, apart from the little screen flickers in the on the displays in front of the driver, it's a good, decent quality DLC. Unlike this next thing, and that is also releasing on the 21st of February, is Northeast Corridor, New York to Trenton. Now this route sucks. The timetable sucks. There's a lot of problems with missing catenary wires and overhead wires at Sunnyside, and you know, half of the services are not there, but they are being worked on. So yeah, thankfully that will come at some point. So we get the Amtrak Acela to spawn in. That's about 45 services. Then we have the ACS 64. That's got a fair few services. Then we've got the multi-level commuter cab car from New Jersey Transit, and that's got a fair few services. Then we've got the returning Amfleet cab car from New York, New Jersey, which I like. This little cab car, it's the best thing ever. And we've got the ALP 46, which is quite cool. Again, a lot of services missing for that one, sadly. In terms of scenarios, we get Sunnyside up, where we recover a train from Penn Station and swap out the locomotive at Sunnyside Yard, which is somewhat reminiscent of a scenario that was in the very original version of Train Sim World, when we had the SW1000 shunter. Then we've got Havoc Across the Hudson, where the Northeast Corridor has been chosen for infrastructure upgrades, where they're like building the tunnels, and that's the story. It doesn't actually really affect anything. Winter in the City, it's like Winter Troubles. It's a full line one basically. Cab to the Race, you're doing a special race day service where you have to be on time. If you're not, it's got 2 endings. One ending, if you're not on time, the bus leaves without you, and if you're on time, the bus leaves on time with you. Then we've got And the Mr. Game, but then we've got NYE in New York City, where you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of boring. There's some fireworks in it, but yeah, it's just back and forth, back and forth. It's not really original, is it? Scenery wise, it's okay. I mean, if I just, you know, spawning at a service from Trenton, and we can have a look. yeah, basically this is Trenton. Again, no lifts work in this because I don't know why they've just decided to build lift mechanics and not use them. Beats me, but whatever. Yeah, it's a nice looking route. It's, you know, it's got its scenic elements just south of here. Then it gets quite suburban, and you get the picture. I like it, but with all its problems, I don't play it much. This next pack is for Sherman Hill, and it was the worst £10 I've ever spent because the liveries were absolutely diabolical. I am, of course, talking about the livery pack, where we just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 liveries for 10 quid. It's not worth it, really. There was bad quality, stuff didn't work on it, absolutely terrible. Got 6 new scenarios as well, so we've got like hot shot, so it's taking freezers from one end of the route to the other. Colourful climb, where it was like a full line run. Dust to bust, going from Granite to Laramie, which is half a run. Heritage help out, where you just take it from Cheyenne to Laramie on just the units themselves. Circular Celebration is like do a photo shoot. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's not. The Gathering is you take a train from Granite Quarry to Cheyenne, and then, you know, uncouple the celebrity locos, and yeah, it's quite a boring pack, really. He's not really to write home about that one. And after that, on the 14th of March 2023, we got the West Cornwall Local Steam Pack, which added a service for the 37. A few services for the 37, most of them AI. And it added 2 new liveries to the LMS Jubilee, that being the black and crimson, and you also have the festive versions, which they've put on Midland mainline, and I cannot stand it because it shouldn't run on the mainline with lights on, because that would confuse drivers. But alas, whatever. And that's got like 3 services, so yeah, which is yeah, not enough. And we had like 5 scenarios, and that was reliving history, where it's a tour service from Penzance to St Austell, so you're doing a full line run. Royal service, we're doing a reenactment from Truro to Penzance, but you're actually going to St Austell. Cooling off steam, operate an afternoon service from St Ives to Truro, which is quite cool. Old trouble with modern solutions, so we're doing a non-stop express tour from Truro to Penzance. And arriving home for Christmas, which is operate the late afternoon Christmas tour service from St Austell to Penzance, full line run. Yeah, not really to write home about that. Then on the 16th of March 2023, we had Linke Rheinstrecke, which again is a German route set in the past, in the early 90s, I do believe. Yes, early 90s, when it was the Deutsche Bundesbahn. And yes, we are. It's got 49 services with the lovely 628. Then we've got the nice N-Wagon, this time in the white and mint, which is quite nice, so it was good to have more N-Wagon. Then we've got the Ice 1, done 2 services. Then we have the 101, the 110 on freight and passenger. And then we have the 103 on express passenger, really. Yeah, it's a nice long route, it's about 90 kilometres. Very scenic, nicely detailed. When it released there was missing overhead wires. Yeah, I don't know how people missed that, but it did. It happens. You know, there's no need to get angry about missing wires. People are only human and things do get missed. That goes for generic moaners that moan about the same old shit every video. You know, about a route being linear, short, all that crap. But yeah, it's you know, it's got 6 scenarios, so it's called still, where you're doing freight from Bingen to Koblenz, so you're doing half the route. We've got Red Rhine, where you're doing a 110 in a rainstorm. Then Castle Collections, where you're doing a 103 on like a castle tour kind of thing with it's kind of like a storyline thing. We've got Jump Around, whereas doing a 103 and there's apparently freight trains on the route, but there actually isn't. We've got a Single Line Rider, where tunnel renovations are putting you on a single track in the 103. Then we've got All Change Please, where you're doing a 103 to no, you're doing a 110 to Bingen from, I want to say, Koblenz, and then you're doing a 103 from Bingen to Koblenz. On the 21st of March 2023, we had Locomotive Bundle 2, Locomotive Boogaloo, which involved a Rail Operations Group Class 37, the SD70 AC E4 Cajon Pass, and the Ice Trainbow and the Green Ice 1. So, unfortunately, I'm going to start with the negatives first. It was basically just something that substitutes into the existing timetable. It had, apart from the 37, the Ice and the SD70 added absolutely nothing to the new to anything new in terms of timetables. It just substitutes in as a livery. Starting off with Castle Würzburg. So we had Going Green, which was go down to Würzburg from Bergenzin to do a special presentation of the Green Ice 1. It was quite boring, there was no traffic. Pride Parade, it was taking a Pride train to Würzburg from Kassel. Again, nothing to write home about, traffic was minimal. And Eco Pride, it was doing a, you do the 401 to halfway across the route and then you do the 403 after, which was crap because there was no traffic again. The SD70, not really to write home about, again just substitutes in more yin-yings. So yeah, there's again it just substitutes in. Again, nothing to write home about. The scenarios you got with that are Manifest Madness, where you're doing you're doing it from the Cajon Pass summit to San Bernardino with no traffic. Trucking along, you're taking truck trailers from San Bernardino to Barstow again, full line run, boring. Twilight Train, you're basically doing a sunset full run, again boring, no traffic. They really let themselves go with scenarios for that one. And then we get on to the best thing out of the pack, which was the Rail Operations Group Class 37. So you got 10 new services added to the already great Southeastern High Speed timetable. It also gives us a new livery and modernisation for the Class 37 with the braking and all that jazz. It also gives us the Southeastern white Class 375, which was a nice livery. Much better than the one that was released on Creators Club. Southeastern High Speed's timetable is one of the greatest with the, you got like the TGV, the Class 33 rail tours, the Class 47 rail tours, and that one Rail Operations Group service with the couple to the 37 and 375. We've got the 375, the 395, the Jubilee and the 465, and something I'm going to come on to later. So yeah, it's all happening on Southeastern High Speed, so what about scenarios? So for scenarios we have out with the old way, doing 37 transport run from from Gillingham to Dartford. In with the new, we're doing Dartford to Faversham. Risky Rescue, where we're basically doing a Thunderbird run from Gillingham to Faversham and from Faversham to Gillingham, I like that scenario. It was really fun. So out of the pack, the 37 was the best. Then on the 23rd of March 2023, we had the most scenic route released by Train Sim Germany, the second third-party developer to release something from in the Train Sim World 3 franchise. So we've got 62 services, so that's 54 for the 628 and 8 for the 365, which isn't like the 363, it's different. So we've got 62 services, which is, yeah, it's not too bad for a little quaint branch line in Germany. It also featured things that haven't been featured in Train Sim World before, like AI honking their horns at the whistle boards, I shall say. It's also a first old German DMU. Just look how pretty it is. I mean, dare I say, do I need to say more? The route itself is well built. There's lots of interesting stuff to do. For example, if we go over to this, you can lower this, which is cool. Watch. And then you can change the gas canister, which is flipping awesome. Then you can send that back up. Really, really cool feature. We also had the event where level crossings along the route could break down and you would have to stop your train and do the level crossings manually, which is always interesting. I have had it happen to me once. Now let's talk about scenarios. Then from another third party, we have the Midland Main Line. That came out on the 18th of April. There it is. So we've got like 253 services utilising the LMS Jubilee Black Festive, which I've got problems with. The 185, which is better now after the update. I'll get into that in a bit more in a minute. Got a couple of 66 services. The 45 does a couple of rail tour services. We've got some drags with the 37, and we've got the VP 185 HST. So yeah, it's quite a nice route. At first it was plagued with TPWS tripping, and it's terrible. I'm going to show you my favourite feature right now. But yeah, like it was plagued by TPWS faults. It was crashing on the PlayStation. Poor PlayStation. Like for just this is what. So after the update, it was a massive update for it. They added a couple of things like my favourite thing they've added is this. You're just gonna wait for it. 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 Yeah, man, they implemented a guard buzzer feature. How epic's that? Also, just listen to this. Yeah. So the sounds are mixed by Dovetail Games themselves, as was the physics, so top notch. It's also a gorgeous looking route. They've done a good job. You know, now Skyhook have people like Adam Lucas and Jane, then I think they're going to go far. Their recent releases have really proved that they are improving a lot, and it's good to see them improving. So let's talk about scenarios. So we've got 7 scenarios. So we've got easy trip. It's clear signals all the way. Batteries hope so. It's not. It's not a easy trip at all. There's red signals and yellow signals galore. The night train, you're basically doing Beeston to Nottingham, and then into the depot, I do believe. Then you're doing some yard work at Etches Park. Then we're doing chasing yellows, which basically does exactly says on the tin. You're chasing yellows in a HST rather. It's no trouble at all. You're blocking out a red hill and must divert. Then not quite awake. It's HST run between Derby and Leicester. No stops, no complications, just a full line run in HST. Can't make your mind up. You're running service in Classic British Indecisive weather, so it's 158 in weather that changes. You're going from Nottingham to Derby. Yeah, it was a good route. I really liked it. It's got more fixes coming. So yeah, what else do you want? Next up we have another steam route, and that is Peak Forest, one of the more scenic routes which came with one new train, which was a trend in Train Sim World 3 where routes were released with one new train or a train that we already have. Looking at you, Glossop line. But in this one we've got the 4F, which is quite nice. Sounds great, I must admit, it does sound great. It's got 31 services. The Jubilee and the 4F aren't new, they're just substituting, and yeah, they've got quite a few services between them. Timetable is a bit shocking. It's, you know, you do a run along the route, it's dead. Yeah. It's not really to write home about, really. The modelling of the stations is great. Just load in, can show you the route. Or not, as it is. I hate how the game automatically defaults to the 15th of January. I don't know why it does that, but it absolutely annoys me. Peak Forest was released on the 9th of May 2023. So let's try that again, shall we? Hey? Let's try it again in the summer. So yeah, it's quite a nice looking route. It's certainly different from other routes that we may have had in the past. Well, I mean the timetable absolutely reeks, and it is quite a dead route like Spirit of Steam. But I guess that was a timetable back in the 50s. We've also got the spur to like Buxton. Yeah, you get the point. It's quite a scenic route. I think a third party is doing some kind of something for it. I don't actually know. Let's talk about Glossop. No scenarios. We've got 6 scenarios. We've got Chinley Gala, which is the best scenario from this route, where you get a train to Shinley, you get off, then you run like a little guards van full of passengers up to the yard to run around and go back. Then you do some turntable thingy, and it's really epic. All mixed up is you just basically going along the route, collecting wagons and dropping off. It's boring. It's very boring. Breaking the bank, you challenge of helping a heavy freight train. That's basically doing a banking. Shunting, you're just doing some shunting at Tunstead Quarry. Deep freeze, it's cold. You're just doing a full run really. Royal appointment. You're doing a royal train from Buxton to Buxton from Ambergate. That's quite cool. Yeah, not really much to home about that. On the 27th of June of this year, Glossop Line released, and it's got 201 services. You've got services for like the 158, 20, the 40, 37, the 323, the 66 and the Jubilee. Sadly, no new train was released with this route, but you can't say I'm surprised. It's just a reskin. So yeah, it's got like 160 services on this route, I believe. Yeah, something like that. It's got a few freight runs too. I want to say Hedgehill side. No, it's not Hedgehill. Guide Bridge, that's it, Guide Bridge. And it's Joe Table. We've got nice moves at Manchester Piccadilly. With the HST and the 158 and the Class 33 that spawns there in December. Yeah, I found that one. Nice. It's a nice route. It's short, but you know, it is what it is. I will spawn in so you can see what James Hadfield looks like. Yeah, you're basically here. It's, you know, basically in Derbyshire. Not really much to write home about. On the 11th of July, the most anticipated unit was released ever, and that, of course, was the Class 700. Adding 89 new services to the South Eastern High Speed timetable. Now let's take a look at the Class 700 scenarios. So we had the Desiro City Showers, where you're doing a run from Gillingham Depot down to through the Wash into Rainham, and then a changeover. We're doing a Rainham to Gravesend, and then you take another service from Gravesend to Rainham. Then we pick up a stranded train from Gravesend and take it to Rochester Sidings. Then we do a reduced Dartford to Strood service. And it's a test service from Dartford to Gillingham Depot. Then Dartford to Gravesend. No, Dartford to Rainham. Then Dartford to Rainham with red signals. Quite fun. And lastly, we had the livery pack for Horseshoe Curve by Skyhook. Got 9 liveries, 6 scenarios for £10. Liveries are very, very high quality. A visit. There we are, show you liveries. We've got nice, good quality liveries. Couple of little bugs, but not major. Not that can't be fixed. Scenarios. So we had a tournament alignment, which was like the picture scenario from Sherman Hill. Then we did like you take it from Altoona to the other one, and then back to the store in Glitzin, Portage to Junita, then doing the mines. That's flipping annoying one. Then it's like a little shunting thing, and again down to the flipping mine, and that's it really. But yeah, so Train Sim World 3, it was quite good. It's quite a mixed bag really, but yeah, it is what it is. All thoughts are my own. I paid for all this content so I can express them, but anyway, yeah, thank you all for watching. See you soon.